Hey, my name is MartiniRita, and I invest for a living, and I live in Airbnbs. It sounds a lot nicer than it really is. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So we're here in Texas. Hopefully it's going to be really fun. I hear a lot of tech people are coming here, so hopefully we can do some projects or something like that. I think it'll be fun. So today I want to talk to you about the Apple announcement. My thesis is that you can still invest in companies that are mainstream and still get a lot of good growth out of them. You know, if you look at the last 5-year performance of Apple, I think it's like 3 or 4 times the amount. So everyone thought Apple was dead, but it's not. So they announced 5G, and it was really impressive was that they had the Verizon CEO come out there and announce it. So, you know, it's really a priority for Verizon. So they announced 5G ultra wideband. So let's cover 5G so you can kind of understand the marketing hype before I tell you what they actually announced. So you have high frequency, medium band, and low band, right? The ultra high band is the high frequency, okay? What's really cool about it is that it is low latency. It's high throughput, so you can push a lot of video, a lot of data through it. The density of people that you can cover in a small area is really good. However, it can't reach very far. Think of like a city block versus, a mile or 2 or 3 or 4. All right. With mid-band, the distance starts to increase, but the bandwidth starts to go a little bit lower. And now you have the low band, which covers the most people, but it's really only about 4 times faster than LTE. So it is good that 5G is rolling out because these phones, the iPhone 12 that was announced, is capable of more. The use cases that they used was thinking about sitting in a stadium, COVID, and seeing multiple angles from the field. Now, I'm not really a sports person, so I don't really know on that use case if you would find that really awesome. But I do watch esports, and I would love that. However, esports, I can just watch it online. And with COVID, I think I don't know where sports is going with that. But for 5G, what I'm really interested in is gaming, okay? Because it's low latency. And here, nobody really thinks of mobile gamers. It's more of a thing in Asia. There's kind of a really strong pro scene. It's really a thing that people do all the time. And if you follow ATVI in any detail, you know that the King's Games division is quite a great purchase. Just so you guys get some familiarity and what King Games is out of Activision, it is like Candy Crush, Castle Crashers. So I'm really excited for that because what people don't understand is Apple is a very big gaming company. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you got to think of the App Store and their gaming subscription, Arcade Plus, that's coming out. And as you know, if you've been in the Discord at all, bundles are Apple One, as they call it. The bundles that are coming with the services are really important. One other thing to note about 5G is that the US is the only one getting the ultra high band. So I'm not so excited about the 5G once I figure that out. So let's go to it and so you can see where you can find out this information because models are different across geographical regions. And I want to show you the 2 pages where you can kind of tell. Okay, so you can usually Google iPhone specifications or iPhone cellular, and you can see the carriers and the geographical regions and the bands that the phones cover. I typically try to buy the country that has the most functionality, so it's kind of an interesting thing if you're doing it for personal use, but also for investing. So let's go over it. So you can see in the United States for the iPhone 12 that they've released, for the iPhone Pro specifically, here are the ultra high bands for 5G. Remember we said above 24 gigahertz. So there's 39 gigahertz and 28 gigahertz. And you can notice if you go down to Canada and Japan, no 39 or 28. According to my research, I don't think they even have it yet. But the UK in some places and China has already rolled out high band 5G. So now we're going down to the rest of the countries, which they have grouped. Oh my gosh, look at all that. Okay, they have mid band and low band, but no high band. Okay, let's scroll more. So even China is not going to have the high band available, which is it's kind of surprising to me. Now you go to the iPhone 12 model, which is the cheaper model. They are going to have the 5G for the United States, but again, they're not going to have the ultra high band for Canada or Japan. And you can keep going down through here and kind of seeing what phone has what. You can also see iPhone SE obviously doesn't have 5G, but this is a great page to kind of understand where everything's at. So the HomePod Mini is a smart speaker, but it's a smaller version of the kind of centralized or more expensive one. And it's meant to go in every room. You can even sync them to have a stereo kind of effect. What's really cool and what I'm really excited about is the intercom feature.
Ask everyone who's hungry, I've got pizza.
The message will automatically play on HomePod speakers throughout the home, and a notification will appear on your family's personal devices.
Supposedly, you can go from Apple devices and talk within your house, especially now with COVID, with people buying larger spaces and everyone having their own schedule. I think this really helps people keep track of other people. Now, I could see it getting really annoying, like if a parent just decides to be in their car with Apple CarPlay and decides to wake up the whole house. I'm not really sure how that's all going to work, but I'm excited to find out. I think it's a really good kind of, I don't know, living kind of function where they can add something small, but it's really big in your life. Okay, so the next thing that I'm really excited about is Apple Silicon. Okay, so they added the A14 processor. And what you may not know is that Apple bought out TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Corporation, I think is what it stands for. And it's really to secure the 5 nanometer chip. And this is going to bring a lot of performance. But really the key thing here is to understand that it's a lot of performance for less power consumption. Apple really takes the hat when it comes to less power consumption. And if you're thinking about mobile gaming, that's so important. If anyone's ever played a mobile game, you know that your battery is going to be toast. And if the iPhone is that thing that stays alive, even though you don't have much battery, I could see people really, really enjoying this. So it's 15% more performance versus the A13 chip, but 30% less power consumption. So that's really impressive. I want to move on to kind of the moves that Apple is making in regards to gaming. And I can't really tell right now. I thought it was positive, but after talking to much more gamers, I'm really on the fence. You guys know about the kind of spat that they're having with Epic Games, and that could really change the landscape because Epic Games owns the Unreal Engine. And the only competitor to that is Unity. So Apple's doing all these things to vertically integrate, but I'm unsure if by pissing off the whole gaming community, if that's good to erect the walls that they continue to erect, right? So if you watch the WWDC, which is the developer conference, you know that there's a progression of the metal graphics engine. And they rejected OpenGL, so you know they're really trying to do the vertical integration, but they're pissing people off. Now, they always do that kind of thing. Is they've moved on to the next thing, and even though everyone uses it, they just don't care. Apple seems like this really nice company, but they're actually really aggressive in their monopoly. So I'm still on the fence whether this is a good move or not, but you can see that they're trying to integrate all the platforms, not external to themselves. I'm talking about iOS, iPad, Mac, Apple TV, right? They have the, what is it called? The Swift UI, the universal purchase. So if you buy something on Mac, then you have it on iOS. If you construct a app on iOS, it can move to the iPad easily. So you can see them kind of doing these steps, and I'm gonna bet that the Apple TV turns into a console. I mean, it kind of already is in a way, but a full-fledged console when they kind of start to integrate all these things. The last thing that's really interesting to see is that League of Legends Wild Rift is coming to the iPhone. So again, that mobile gaming theme, and I think this is where they're going. So there's one last thing. I want to talk to you about seeing signs of different stages of a company. So there are, I think, different innovation stages of a company. I'm not going to go into them right now. That's a really good idea for a video. But for now, I think Apple is very mainstream. Now, when a company goes to die, they turn into a neophyte company. And the innovation kind of starts to trail off. So I always look for signs that that's stopping. Now, late last year, Johnny Ives left. He was the design head. And I understand that Steve Jobs is very famous, but Johnny Ives leaving Apple is not a good thing. That's like Steve Jobs leaving, in my opinion. Tell me in the comments if you agree or disagree, but I'm kind of seeing signs that he has left. So let me show you why I think that. Okay, it's going to kind of look a little to the left, but I chopped this all up together and I want to talk to you about design. Okay, so when you're trying to buy a bunch of iPhone devices, I would think that you would want things that match. And none of it really matches. You've got this teal for the iPhone 12 Pro. You've got this kind of crayon blue for the casing. And then you have this light blue and light green. But there's no color theory here. The only way really you could get anything to match is maybe the silver, because you have kind of a warm brown and then a dark gray. And keep in mind, these are all new devices that have recently been announced. So I think this is kind of a product of Johnny Ives coming, or as some people have suggested, is that they're really starting to feature accessory manufacturers. You know, you just put on a color case that you want and it just doesn't matter. But for people that are paying this much, especially the iPhone 12 Pro, you've got an iPad, you've got a watch, you've got a couple of different bands, you know, you're already out thousands of dollars. I would think it would want to match. Maybe I'm just being picky, but I'm concerned, especially when you still have rounded backs and square backs. And it's just, I don't know, it's just like a hodgepodge of stuff. And you have the iPhone Mini now, too. You know, Steve Jobs had some pretty strong thoughts on not dividing attention to so many products, because things like this would happen. You wouldn't see the details. You wouldn't take care of them for people. So we'll see what happens. But I'm starting to see signs of it transitioning to a neophyte. That's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, if you agree or disagree. Don't forget that the Discord is the place to be. We hang out all the time. We do due diligence, and it's really fun. So I'll see you guys.